Donald Trump has assembled the richest cabinet in U.S. history. Not including co-president Elon Musk, the cabinet is worth an estimated $7 billion. There's Education Secretary Linda McMahon, who made her fortune from professional wrestling. There's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who ran a hedge fund. There's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who chaired the financial services firm Cantor Fitzgerald. Members of Congress are insanely wealthy too. At least 276 members of Congress are millionaires, according to Quiver Quantitative. And that's only including stock portfolios, not real estate and other assets. 132 members of Congress are worth $5 million or more, and at least 80 members are worth $10 million or more. The richest current member of Congress is Florida Senator Rick Scott, who's worth an estimated $550 million. That's more than twice as much as the second richest member of Congress, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Too many rich politicians is bad for America. Here are 3 reasons why. Number 1, they're out of touch with regular Americans. You may remember then Senator J.D. Vance's incredibly awkward visit to the donut shop during the 2024 campaign. Despite his rise to fame with Hillbilly Elegy, it's pretty clear he's left that origin story pretty far behind.
Okay. I'm J.D. Vance. I'm running for Vice President. Let's see.
Okay.
Just a random sport mode stuff. Okay, good. How was
Everything.
Just everything, yeah. I mean, a lot of glaze and rolls, just whatever makes sense.
Rich politicians don't understand what it means to struggle with bills. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, for instance, recently downplayed the impact of tariffs on American consumers. He said that, quote, access to cheap goods is not part of the American dream. Well, according to a 2024 survey by the Bank of America, nearly half of Americans see themselves as living paycheck to paycheck, and nearly a third of Americans are spending more than 90% of their income on basic necessities. Another reason rich politicians are bad for America is that they can buy their way into office regardless of their qualifications, or rather, lack thereof. They fund their own campaigns, and they often make terrible candidates. In 2022, for instance, the top 3 self-funded candidates were all Republicans. One was Dr. Oz, who spent $28.6 million running for the Senate in Pennsylvania. He's now in line to run Medicare. One was Mike Gibbons, an election denier who spent $18.3 million of his own money running for Senate in Ohio. And one was Jim Lehman, who was indicted as a fake elector after the 2020 election and spent $18.4 million running for the Senate in Arizona. Lehman also caught heat for an incredibly tasteless Western-style campaign ad that depicted a shootout with Democratic politicians. From 2018 to 2024, according to the Brookings Institution, 183 candidates plowed at least $1 million of their own money into campaigns. Most of these candidates lost, including Oz, Gibbons, and Lehman, but the money they poured into their campaigns gave them an unfair advantage and may also have deterred better but less wealthy candidates from running. Yet another problem with having rich people run government is conflicts of interest. With disturbing regularity, rich politicians seem to be using their offices to make themselves richer. Here are 3 specific abuses. Number 1 is advocating for policies that benefit them. A prime example are Trump's tax cuts, which would deliver the biggest benefits to people like the ones in Trump's cabinet. Number 2 is self-dealing. Despite all of Elon Musk's complaints about wasteful government spending, an awful lot of federal money is winding up in Musk's pockets. Musk already holds at least $38 billion in government contracts, and federal agencies are now reportedly signing up for Wi-Fi from Musk's Starlink. A third problem is insider trading. Members of Congress made 11,000 stock trades in 2023, according to the Campaign Legal Center. 97 members reported trading in stocks that were directly impacted by their committees. Especially egregious is when members trade on information that they get before the rest of us. At the start of the COVID pandemic, then-Senator Kelly Loeffler dumped $20 million in stock right after a secret briefing on COVID. Her colleague, North Carolina Senator Richard Burr, dumped $1.7 million in stock around the same time, despite reassuring the public that COVID was nothing to worry about. These are fixable problems, and here are 2 solutions that could give us a start. One simple fix is to ban members of Congress from trading in stocks while they're in office. Last session, a bipartisan group of senators led by Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley introduced legislation called the Ethics Act that would do exactly that. This legislation wouldn't ban members from owning stock like in a mutual fund. It would just stop them from becoming day traders with information they learn while they're in office. A second step would be to expand public financing for campaigns. Many countries around the world give direct public funding to campaigns, both as a way to limit the influence of money in politics, but also to encourage participation from a wider array of candidates. In an ideal world, campaign finance reform would limit the amount of money that politicians spend. But here in the United States, that's actually unconstitutional. In its landmark case, Citizens United versus FEC, the Supreme Court ruled that campaign spending is a form of speech that's protected by the First Amendment. But what we can do is level the playing field by providing more public money to non-wealthy candidates running for office. Research by the University of Chicago finds that public financing can, in fact, increase competition by increasing the number of candidates who throw their hat into the ring. One possible model to follow might be Maine, where voters approved the Maine Clean Elections Act in 1996 and then again in 2015. Under this system, candidates for governor and state legislature can opt for public money to finance their campaigns, provided that they agree to limit their spending and don't solicit private donations. According to the nonprofit Maine Center for Clean Elections, more than 60% of candidates for state office now use this system. As we are finding out in real time, having billionaire politicians control our government and political system is really bad for America. We need to do what we can to get the billionaires out and regular Americans in. I'm Ann Kim, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.